Welcome back, everybody. My name is Christine D'Souza, and today we are talking about the snack attack and how you can be prepared for your snack attack so that you can stay on track for your healthy eating. Okay, so I've got a list here that I'm going to go over with you. So we all know that preparation is the key to staying on track. Now, we learned in our last session that if we're not prepared, then usually what we'll do is just grab whatever is in front of us. So we talked about if we're at our kids' game and we don't have anything with us and we're not prepared, we're going to be the first ones in line at the ice cream truck, right? Or if we're at a meeting and we didn't prepare our own lunch, or we don't have anything that we know we can eat after the meeting, of course we're going to dive in. And usually there's only just kind of like a green lettuce salad, right? When we're at these meetings that are catered, right? There's always brownies and cookies. Always, right? Not that you can never have that, but if you're having those meetings every day, it can become tough. I hear from my clients all the time how tough that can be, and I've experienced it myself as well. So my goal today is to give you some ideas of what you can take with you, what you can have prepared. So I have 3 different sections that we're going to go over. The first section is grab and go. So that is something that you can just literally grab it and go. It's already prepared, it's already packaged, you don't have to cut, chop, put it in a Tupperware or anything at all. You just grab it and go. You can maybe pick it up somewhere on your way, okay? The second section that we're going to talk about is called prep and go, okay? So there are things that we can prepare to take with us, okay? That's going to take a little bit more advanced thought, but it's something that's going to be so convenient and so helpful once you put the work in on the front end. And some of these things are so simple that you don't even necessarily need to prep it at the beginning of the week. You could just prep it like before you're leaving, in 5-10 minutes or something, okay? And the last thing is the category of go and no. No, that's not right. Not go and no. The last category is store and know. So for example, if there is a place that you frequent regularly in your office, whether that's your new home office, okay, or your office at work, or in your car, or at a place where you frequent, it's something that you just can leave there and you don't have to worry about it. When you need it, it's there. You don't have to be towing stuff around with you in this busy life that we have. So a few things that I wanted to mention when it comes to the snack attack are the reasons why you might be hungry. Now, there's so many different reasons why you could be hungry, and some of them could actually surprise you. One reason why you might perceive yourself to be hungry is because you could actually be thirsty. That's one reason. Another reason is that you're not actually hungry, but your blood sugar has dropped. So when your blood sugar drops, you can start to get all of these unwell feelings. And then the other reason why you might feel hungry is even though you ate, maybe the macronutrients were not quite right. So macronutrients are your protein, your carbohydrates, and your fats, and you can eat those in different ratios, and they contribute to how satiated you feel. So it is important to make sure that you're not having only foods that are just going to quickly digest and not really sustain you. So you want to make sure that you're having foods with protein, fat, and fibrous complex carbohydrates. Okay, so you probably can relate to this whole snack attack thing, right? Because I don't know how many times I've heard or have experienced myself, especially in the past before I had a little bit more insight into the situation, was just like that feeling of failing because I grabbed a Snickers that really satisfied, right? And then there's other people that can go the whole day without eating at all. And then all of a sudden, when they get their snack attack, it is just kind of out of control, right? And then it results in a binge. So, what we're talking about today and what we've been talking about with the clean eating is really important to be put into perspective and then also put into practice. Because once we put it into practice, we can start limiting these attacks that we have, and we can just be prepared and have the tools that are actually going to help us continue to thrive. And so that we get out of that cycle of starting and stopping and starting and stopping and self-sabotage and all the things that come along with the feeling of failing with your food. You know, one of the things that we have to always remember in preparing for this snack attack or any situation in general, whatever you choose to do with your healthy eating, is that it's going to be forever. I know that is not what you want to hear, but because the idea of eating well is forever, you have to realize and come to a threshold of understanding that you, my friend, are not going to be perfect with every bite that goes in your mouth. So you have to be a little bit realistic and set really attainable expectations and know your personality. Some people are like cold turkey. They just go all in and they can do it, and that's no problem. That's the only way they can do it. And then other people are small, sustainable changes over time. Okay, so these are all things to keep in mind when we're talking about our clean eating and then also our snack attacks. One of the things that you want to do is make sure that you start to take notes and identify the times that you are more vulnerable to making a choice that is not optimal for you. So what are the circumstances? What are the predicaments? What are the, the environment? What are the things that put you in that place where you're like, oh no, okay? Most of the time it's unpreparedness, but there are a lot of other reasons too, and they're going to be different for every one of you. So one of the things you got to do is you got to think about what are those moments that get you to that place of just grabbing that Snickers that really satisfies. Let's move on. So the first section, grab and go. I've got some of the simple ones that I'm sure you probably figured out on your own, like an orange. It's already got a nice wrapping around it, right? It's got a nice sturdy peel. I love, love, love bringing oranges, especially the ones that are easy to peel. You'll always catch me with clementines in my pockets. Seriously. If you ever say you're hungry around me, I'll just take out one of those clementines and hand it right to you, because I usually have a couple of them in my pockets, especially in the winter. In the summer, it's a little different. But oranges and clementines, they are really resilient, even at the bottom of a bag. Okay, I'm not saying you're like me and you throw stuff to the bottom of your bag. I'm just saying they're pretty resilient, oranges. Okay, bananas, on the other hand, they're really good to take with you also, but really only if you know you're going to eat it, because once you take that through the ringer for the day and then you bring it home, you're probably going to have to make some banana bread or something else with it, because those are not as resilient as oranges, but they are great and they are really easy grab and go, especially if you're on the run and you're going to eat it right then and there. You just take it, bring it in your car, and you eat it. I try and eat that in the first part of the day if I bring a banana or something like that. Okay. And the small ones, actually, the small bananas are a little bit more resilient than the bigger bananas. Okay. They're have a little bit thicker skin and they're more compact. So they're a little bit sturdier. So that's just a tip there with your bananas. Okay. Apples are great because of the crunch. So if you are someone who always needs to be eating something in the car, like chips or something like that, like if you're like one of those drivers that's always has your hand in the bag, try and transition to an apple, a nice crunchy apple that will keep you busy. The crunch will help you reduce your stress and also might keep you from texting and driving, right? Or being on a phone call and driving, okay? So apples are really great for being on the road. They can get bruised, of course, but depending, I mean, that you can have either a brown bag, right, that you throw your stuff in, or sometimes you can have something that's a little bit safer, like one of those lunch box that are a little sturdy, right? So they're hard around the edges, and you can actually put it in a little cooler where it's not really going to be damaged. But these are some examples of grab and go that you may have thought of already, but you might not make a habit of because they're just sometimes when things are so obvious, they escape us. So I wanted to bring those up. So peaches and nectarines, oh, so good, especially when they're soft, but those are messy and sticky. So make sure you're somewhere you can wash your hands if you're taking that along with you, or you can always cut them up in advance or something like that. Okay, single serve mixed nuts. This is great. Now it's more cost effective, of course, if you buy a large container and then you decide to measure them, pack them in your little baggie, and then you can just grab your baggie and go. Okay, that would fall more under prep and go. But they sell single serve bags, which may be a little bit more money, but the convenience might be worth it for you to get the single serve bag of nuts. And you can get mixed nuts, you can get all different types that are already prepackaged. And the great thing about that is that you don't really run the risk of eating a whole can. Because nuts, they go down pretty easy, wouldn't you agree? And they're one of those, they're really good for you and you should definitely have them in your diet, but it's easy to go overboard. And what that can do, it can do a lot of different things if you go overboard on your nuts. Of course, they're heavier in the fats, right? It's a good fat, but that's still calories. Okay, so if you're on like a caloric budget, you want to make sure that you're rationing that. Okay, the other thing is if you have too many nuts, it can actually be hard on your digestive system. Okay, so you want to be careful with how many nuts you're having because of your digestive system. And then some of you, if your skin is really sensitive, if you have too much oil from, say, peanuts, which are actually a legume, but I think most people treat them as nuts. If you get too much grease from them, you can start to break out on your face and your skin and hair can get oily, right? So that's just my thought on nuts and pre-packaging, okay? All right, Greek yogurt. Yogurt is one of those topics that when my client tells me, I had yogurt for breakfast or had yogurt for a snack or yogurt for lunch, I hold my breath for a second because I'm like, ooh, that and salads. Why? Because they are not created equally, okay? So Greek yogurt, yes, it's high in protein, right? So it's better than one of those low protein yogurts that are full of sugar, but these can still also be full of sugar. If you look, you're probably gonna see, if you look at the different varieties, you're going to see there are certain flavors that are higher or lower in sugar and certain brands that are higher and lower in sugar. I like the high protein part of it because that's going to keep you full, okay? And it's a really good thing to have. But if the sugars are kind of creeping up there, you can see like there are yogurts, and I know you're not going to believe me unless you see with your own eyes, but there are yogurts that are in like the 40s for sugar, 38 grams of sugar, 42 grams of sugar. It's crazy. Now, certain ones are lower. So my favorite is the YQ from Yoplait. That's a higher protein yogurt and it's low in sugar. It's got about 9 grams of sugar. There are a few from Chobani that are a little bit higher in sugar, but they're hovering more like around 12 to 14 grams of sugar, but some of the flavors are like 17 and up. Okay, so you do want to take a look at that. I think it's a really convenient thing to bring with you though for a snack, okay, especially if you can keep it cold or if you're going to eat it in a relatively soonish time frame. Okay, you can take that, but just be mindful of the brand and the amount of sugar that's in your Greek yogurt, okay, that you're going to take. Okay, all right. Isogenics protein chips. All right, I love these protein chips, Harvest Crisps. Those are great because they're pre-packaged, pre-portioned. They've got, you know, for something that feels like a chip, okay, or that feels like a good crunchy snack, it's about 10 grams of protein and like 100 calories. Those are awesome. They give you that kind of salty satiation, so convenient. You just grab it, you put it in your bag, you go. There are some other brands that offer things like that. One of the other brands is Quest, and those are more like actual, they're kind of similar to baked Lays, right? The texture is a little bit different, but you can try it for yourself and see what you like. So that is that is another convenient snack to just grab and go. Okay, beef jerky, chicken jerky. They even have actually a vegan jerky now that I believe it's made with a like a soy base. So they have got some easy options for a high protein grab and go snack, even if you are vegan. Okay, so tuna in a pouch. That is so easy. That is so easy. You just bring a spoon, you bring the pouch, and there you have it. They have different flavors, so you can check the ingredient line, see if you agree with the ingredient line, and if you do, that is so convenient. You just grab a little fork and you can do whatever. You can put it you know, on top of something else that you bring with you, on top of like lettuce wraps, or you can just eat it right there with the fork. But that is a great, simple solution to make sure you like always have something, okay, available to you. String cheese. I know people think cheese is taboo, but it's actually a really convenient snack, especially if it's in the string cheese single serve portions. Then you don't run the risk of just having too much cheese. Like, you should moderate how much cheese you're having, because there are risks to that, not just it being higher in the saturated fat, but you know, if you're doing too much cheese, there's other complications that could happen, right? It can be binding, and then also there's other things like the gout. Okay, there's other things, but string cheese overall, if you just have it in moderation, that can be a really convenient snack to have. Okay, you don't have to cut cheese out of your diet completely if you are not vegan. Okay, single serve prunes. They have the prunes now that are individually packed. It feels like you're having a little piece of candy. Okay, those are really convenient. Applesauce, an unsweetened applesauce, that is really easy to just grab and throw in your bag, and just make sure you always have spoons in your bag. Right, so applesauce, unsweetened applesauce, that's portioned. You just peel it back. If you forget a spoon, just dig your teeth in like Dracula. Come on, I know you've done that. All right, roasted chickpeas. Now you can buy those already, or you can make them. Okay, so those are another good snack. They have them now in different flavors. Single serve baby carrots, another good one. And then you can pair that with single serve hummus that they sell. They sell the little rounds, or single serve holy guacamole. So they have the single serve. They have the single serve of the guacamole. Okay. And the other thing, okay, yeah, I mentioned it in the next one. All right. So the last one I have on this list, and you may have other ideas, which I want you to absolutely share below. Okay. But the other one is pre-prepared quinoa. So if you haven't seen, there's these cups, they're like this big, they come with a spoon, and on the top, they usually have some sort of flavoring. So they'll have, you know, like roasted peppers or artichokes or something like that, okay? And when you have that, it's very convenient, okay? You can eat that up. It's like a little meal. You can add it to, you know, something else, right? So if you brought the tuna, okay, so you didn't have time to prepare anything, but you brought your tuna and you brought your quinoa, then you can throw some of that right on top, okay? Or if you brought some some bagged salad, right? I didn't mention that, but you can get that to go also, right? Then you can add the tuna and a little bit of quinoa on there also, okay? So those are just some grab and go ideas that I have for you. Now the next section is prep and go, okay? These are things that will take a little bit more preparation, but they're still easy to prepare and then easy to take along with you, okay? And so the first one I'm gonna mention before, oh yeah, it's on there, okay. So nuts and seeds, same thing like we talked about, you can actually just prepare those, okay? You can put them in your own little baggie and bring them with you if you don't buy the ones that are already pre-packaged, okay, and pre-portioned. It takes a little more time, but you can do it, okay, if you have the time. Chia pudding, that's something that you can make in advance and bring that along, okay? Chia pudding, if you don't know, it gelatinizes, that's the right word. And there are some pretty good recipes out there that you can have. It's almost like a little pudding, but it has the seeds in there, okay? So they're already gelified, and you can bring that with you. You can make beverages with that for you know, for that matter. It doesn't have to be spoonable. It can be actually a drinkable, okay? Oh, kombucha, I forgot to mention that. Kombucha, you can prepare this and make it on your own, but you can also buy this already made. So kombucha is a really good one for soda drinkers. If you feel like you need soda, because this has some effervescence, but it's low in sugar, even though it's made from a sugar SCOBY, which is interesting, but it's a fermented food, so it's really good for your gut health, okay? So that's a good one, all right. Sweet potatoes, you can prepare those and bring them. Overnight oats is another one, okay? You can get really acquainted with the ball jars, and you can do your chia in there. You can do your overnight oats. Those, they take like 5 minutes to prepare, and then you just put it in the fridge and it's ready to go the next day, okay? The hardest thing about these things is just remembering your spoon, okay? Boiled eggs, awesome. Boiled eggs, so simple, so delicious, so versatile. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you one of my favorite tips that I do with the boiled eggs and with bananas and different things, okay? So if I feel like I wanna have a sauce on it or something, I'll put, say for example, I'll take a baggie and I'll put hummus inside the baggie, right? I'll put it in the corner just like you were gonna squeeze frosting, and snip the edge just a little bit, snip off the corner so that you can squirt it on your boiled egg just like frosting, except it's hummus, okay? You can do that with peanut butter and banana. You can do that with a lot of different things, okay? So that's just one tip. And what I'll do is I'll snip the side and then I'll put it in another baggie so that it doesn't like squirt all over my bag, okay? So that's an idea. All right, isoline shakes. These pretty much my breakfast all the time, okay? Meal replacement shake, okay? Or you can do it as a recovery, whichever one, okay? But when you're out the door, you can whip it up in 2 minutes and it can hit like all your nutrition targets, and you can just take it with you, and it's so good. It's definitely better than definitely better than an ice cream shop. Just saying, okay? Just saying, it really is. All right, protein balls. If you've never made like any energy balls or protein balls, you can find so many different variations of recipes, and those are really good to just kind of throw in your bag and bring with you. So here's the thing, you just have to, you know, be mindful of what you're combining all of these things with throughout your whole day, right? You always want to look at your whole day, what your whole day looks like, okay? You don't want to have everything the same or from one category. You want to, you know, diversify, okay? You do want to, like, if you can prep some cucumbers or some vegetables and things like that, and bring some raw vegetables for your hummus, okay? You can do that, okay? So that's an idea, okay? Cottage cheese, they sell those single serve, okay? I love that with olives, really good, and hot peppers. Yes. Grapes, seaweed snacks, okay? Seaweed snacks, of course, berries and dates, and kale chips. They've come out with all sorts of kale chips, but with the kale chips, you just want to be careful which ones you choose, because Some of them can be high in fat, but there's lots of nutrients, okay, in kale and seaweed and, you know, that kind of sea vegetable. Okay. All right. The last section I'm going to go through is store and know. All right. Store and know. Okay. So if you're going to the same place every day, if you're going to an office, if you're going to a shop that you work out of, if you're going to, you know, your mother's house, okay, wherever you're going, and you spend a significant amount of time, or like I said, in your car, okay, if it's in your car, be aware of the temperature, okay, if you're living in a hot part of the country or a cold part of the country, you want to take that into consideration. But isoline shakes, so you can always have just a shake that you can mix up so simply, because these shakes only take water. You don't need to add anything else to make these taste amazing, which is very rare for a shake. Okay. Nuts and seeds, you can always have a can or a jar of nuts and seeds. Okay. Some of these we already mentioned, but these are really good ones that can stay shelf stable and not take up too much room wherever you're leaving them. Okay. They're very unintrusive. Okay. Nuts and seeds, a bowl of clementines. So clementines, they stay pretty good. Okay, bananas, of course, protein bars. Okay, you want to be careful with which one you choose, because again, a lot of them have the artificial flavors in there, like the artificial sweeteners. Some of them don't taste that good, but some of them are really good. Okay, the isoline ones, those are great. Okay, you can kind of stash those away. Just don't let anybody else know they're there, because they'll leave them on you. Okay, the single serve quinoa, and then the tuna pouches. All right, so there's so many clean options on here that you can just have ready and available. Okay, now this is not an exhaustive list, but this is a good baseline list that ties in well to the clean eating. Okay, so if you want to keep things clean, pretty much everything on this list abides by that way of eating. So I hope you found this helpful. And if you have any ideas of your own, any tips of your own, or what your own experiences have been in this arena, please let us know in the comments below, because we can all learn from each other. And I love trying new things. I don't know about you, but I want to try whatever combinations you've tried, whether you think they're gross or not. I want to try them as long as I'm not allergic to them. I am all for it. And I know that there's going to be lots of other people watching this that are going to be curious and interested what your go-tos are. So I hope you enjoyed learning about mine, and I hope this helps you, and I will see you next time.